So, hello my friends, Devaun Lennox here, PhotographyPX. In today's video, we'll cover the main highlight features and do an overview of Blackmagic's Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. Do know you can find timestamps and links in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment. And also know this is not a sponsored video. Let's get started. Released in the spring of 2021, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro comes to refresh the original 6K model, and it comes as the third entry into the wildly famous Pocket Cinema range. With the original 6K, the firm moved from the smaller Micro Four Thirds size to a much larger Super 35 size sensor and the Canon EF mount. And while noteworthy, the original model had its flaws, namely it lacked articulation, ND filters, and EVF and suffered from poor battery life. So with this new release, Blackmagic's gone back to the drawing board to rectify these issues. Now this Pro model adds a variety of essential features like a tilting HDR touchscreen, the Pro EVF option, built-in ND filters, dual mini XLR inputs, a new battery, and refined color science. Yet it comes to market with the same price tag as its predecessor. So while it's technically an incremental upgrade, it seems to be one of significance compared to the base model. Thus, the 6K Pro looks to be an appealing option for filmmakers perfectly ready to deliver a Hollywood experience, and one ready to compete with Sony's FX3 and Canon's EOS C70. It obtains the same 21.2 megapixel Super 35 size CMOS sensor from the base 6K model. And the sensor uses a full-time rolling shutter rather than a mechanical shutter. Yet surprisingly, the camera can capture still images, and it can capture uncompressed DNG RAW photos using the stills button on the top plate. So this is a nice bonus for photographing sets and scouting locations, but ultimately this is a video camera, so let's cover the camera's video capabilities. This camera offers quite a few resolutions, but they're identical to the base 6K. But here is the full list: 6K, 5.7K, 4K DCI, 4K UHD, 3.7K anamorphic, 2.8K, and Full HD. All of these record with a maximum frame rate of either 50 or 60p, while 2.8 and FHD can record at 120p. The camera also divides video capabilities into codecs and quality menus. For codecs, you have the option of Blackmagic RAW, also known as B-RAW, or Apple's ProRes. And you have various quality options within these families to determine the data rate and the overall compression of the file. But the data rates do vary based on the bitrate setting or the compression ratio that you use and the constant quality setting selected in the camera. And ultimately, the actual bitrate that will be recorded to the file will depend on the medium you're shooting. But ProRes 422HQ, the highest quality setting for ProRes, records at 117 megabits per second, and 6K RAW 483 megabits per second. Even so, Blackmagic recommends experimenting with these settings to see which file size to quality ratio meets your production's needs. It also offers 3 dynamic range options ranging from film, extended video, and standard video. Film records a log curve, preserving the camera's dynamic range and maximizing the video signal's information. Video, however, shoots with the standard Rec. 709 gamma for standard HD video. Extended video is a hybrid between both of these profiles, offering a wider dynamic range with a smooth roll-off. However, it's not as flat as the film profile. The camera now features built-in neutral density filters, and the mechanical filter wheel switches from a clear or 2-stop to 4-stop and 6-stop ND. These are also infrared blocking filters, reducing any IR contamination. And this addition becomes a key selling feature over the base model. So no more faffing with external ND filters or step-up rings out in the field. It also offers both zebras and false color, and it has built-in 3D LUT support, which you can output or record into the files. It has anamorphic D-squeeze, it has frame guides, letting you toggle various aspect ratios for both the LCD and the HDMI output. It features a digital slate, letting you add custom metadata to recorded videos, and it can output a clean 10-bit 422, 1080p, 60p signal with HDR support via HDMI. And you can also convert this port to an SDI port using Blackmagic's micro converter. There you can finally interface with professional SDI devices like monitors or broadcast switchers. Plus, the camera can also output B-RAW via USB to a compatible SSD drive. It features an ISO range from 100 to 25,600, but it obtains the dual native ISO capabilities of its predecessor of 400 and 3200, and overall its low light performance is excellent. As such, users can expect usable videos up to ISO 6400 and even 12,800 with minor processing. Blackmagic cameras are known to be quite demanding on batteries. Thankfully, new for this release is a brand new battery system. In this case, it now uses the Sony NP-F series battery rather than the Canon LPE series. This change effectively bumps the camera's battery capacity from 1800 to 3500 milliamps. With that, Blackmagic has overhauled the battery longevity. Now users can expect 60 minutes of uninterrupted recording when using the NP-F570 battery, depending on the resolution. And you can triple this lifespan to 3 hours by using the optional battery grip. As such, this becomes a key selling point that fixes a fatal flaw with the original 6K model. Not to mention, these batteries are widely available and quite affordable as well. Additionally, the camera also supports USB charging with compatible sources, so you can gradually charge the installed battery. There's also a 12-volt DC input that you can connect to household power for indefinite use. For displays, it features an updated rear touchscreen LCD. In this case, it's the same 5-inch HDR display with a 1080p resolution as the original, but it now offers a brightness of 1500 nits and it tilts up 90 degrees and down 45 degrees. These are substantial changes as the original only offered a fixed LCD by contrast. Thus, it brings articulation to the line and answers a long requested feature. It also obtains the Pro EVF option, letting users attach an external viewfinder to the top plate by removing the blanking panel. It's a paid-for accessory, but it's well-designed, small, and versatile. And it eliminates the need for any rigging and the hassles with traditional EVF accessories for these cameras. Physically, it features a similar design as the base model, but it's noticeably larger to accommodate the built-in EVF housing and the built-in ND filters, so much so it's now nearly 1 pound, 37.8% heavier than the base model, tipping the scales at 2.73 pounds. It's also 27% taller, 10% deeper, and slightly wider than the base model too. Now, its chunky, angular design makes it compatible to most full-frame DSLRs, namely the Nikon D6 and the Canon 1DX Mark III, which are arguably the largest DSLRs in their classes. Even so, it remains small enough that most users can use this camera on a compact traveling tripod or a monopod, so it's surprisingly ideal for filming in difficult to reach locations, and it's surely smaller than the majority of professional cinema cameras in this class. It now has double quarter 20 threads on the bottom plate rather than only one, a tally light LED light on the front face, 3 top mounted function buttons, and a settings wheel to adjust the aperture for compatible lenses. Otherwise, it also features dual mini XLR inputs, both with 48 volts phantom power, a microphone input, a headphone output, a built-in stereo microphone, a timecode generator accessed by the 3.5mm microphone input, dual card slots, a USB-C port which uses USB 3.1 Gen 1 and now supports charging during operation, a full-size HDMI port, time-lapse recording, focus peaking, and colored lines to help manually focusing, a flicker-free shutter, Bluetooth connectivity, letting you control the camera wirelessly from a connected device with Blackmagic's camera control app, pixel remapping, and Blackmagic includes DaVinci Resolve Studio with purchase. In the end, Blackmagic's Pocket 6K Pro becomes the best addition to the Pocket lineup, and it's now the perfect opportunity for new users to enter the system despite the higher price. With the improved battery life, bright tilting screen, built-in ND filters, optional viewfinder, and dual XLR inputs, this camera delivers quite the quality of life upgrade, yet it provides these high-end capabilities at a bargain. And it's also doubly capable for existing filmmakers wanting an Ursa Mini substitute, sidestepping its demanding price. Sure, it's missing some features we take for granted on consumer mirrorless cameras. Even so, this approach helps keep the general cost affordable and more accessible to the broader demographic. And it still manages to outperform the competition in general functionality nonetheless. So it seems the 6K Pro continues the legacy of delivering professional cinema cameras into the hands of the masses with a fraction of rivals' cost, and it makes the competition now look quite expensive by contrast. So if you're looking for the best bang for buck against larger cinema cameras, this is it. So there you have it, my friends. There are the highlights and the overview of Blackmagic's Pocket 6K Pro. For more information on the 6K Pro, check out our website, photographypx.com, and there you'll see a full detailed written review, as well as other reviews that may be of interest to you. You can also look at the pinned comment in the description down below, and that will take you right to the full review as well. I've been your host, Devaun Lennox. We will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found the contents of today's video insightful and it added value to you. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Also, leave us a like and a comment in the description down below. Let us know if we overlooked something or we missed something that we covered in today's video. I've been your host, Devaun Lennox. Photography.